Yeah, let me pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for a gift of life and health. Thank you for each and every one of us who can log on today, for Jeff who can continue to train us. For Lord, Stone is not feeling well. We commit him into your hands. We ask, oh Lord, that your hand will be upon him. May you heal him, restore him to good health. And for all of us who may not be feeling well, may you restore us. For all of us who may have lost our loved ones, may you comfort us. May you give us strength to do all we need to do today, and may our class be successful. Thank you, Lord, in Jesus' name I've prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Doctor, for praying. And for my students, welcome back from the long week. Today, we're going to look at web development in Python. And on a good note, we're going to start right away with Django, then we'll come to Flask later. But just to remind you, as Doctor said, Livingstone is not doing well. And I also want to bring to your attention, Doctor, that the pre-recorded class is actually doing much better, because I've seen a lot of feedback from the students. I'm sure they can confirm to us in the chat, probably for you to see how the pre-recorded classes have been helpful, which are running on our YouTube platform. Yeah, so you guys, you could let Doctor know whether you're enjoying the pre-recorded classes or they're giving you enough coverage, and the concepts, whether they are much well explained. They don't scare you because you're learning at your own pace. That's the beauty. And then you can learn from anywhere at any time. That's the beauty with the pre-recorded classes. But otherwise, Doctor, I think this week we wrapping up everything. On Wednesday, I'll try my best to make sure that whatever is supposed to be covered, if I don't cover it into these normal classes, I'll try to get time and have it in the pre-recorded classes, so that the students are able to learn at their own pace in the pre-recorded classes. One of the students who has been very active is Damulira Owen. He gives very constructive comments, and I have been holding his hand throughout with his comments, and I'm sure, Owen, you're picking up very well into these programming concepts in Python. Now, today we're going to just look at introduction to Django. But before we get to Django, there are things that I mentioned that I won't cover them because of our time limits. I've already given you the research final project. You will get the data set today because I want you to start working much earlier. Wow, I see YouTube is good. That is from Mwesije. Oh, yeah, it's a good thing. I know. I'm not the only one who started teaching you using this approach on YouTube. You realize when you are studying artificial intelligence by Dr. Gwalingo, you guys were able to, all of you were asked to create a YouTube account and present your work using YouTube. So YouTube is definitely a good platform for learning, but you can use it for both, to learn and also make money from it. That's the other beauty. And for those ones who feel they want to appear on our tech show, so you'll get in touch with Zara, will guide you on that. But that's not what I'm supposed to talk about right now. My focus is on the areas I feel I should have mentioned them much earlier, that you are supposed to cover. But I feel because of time, we might not cover a lot on that area. Okay, it's literally going to be very, very big, but I know you will cover it when you do meetups and when we do a meetup and we're on campus, then we can interact. I'll just try to highlight the things that I may not. Okay, it's just only one thing, that is MySQL and MongoDB. Those are the only things which I know you will cover them when you're doing the assignment. And that would be the entire end of Python as a programming language, but of course, Python can do very many amazing stuff. So we are on web development. Please tell your colleagues to log in, Okay. This is basically for you to get the notes. Then we will do the hands-on. Of course, I think today probably we might end up just setting Django onto our PC and probably try to output some text on the URLs. That's going to be what we can try to cover in the meantime. And of course, in the last hour, I'll also introduce the assignments to you. Remember, I talked about being very creative and avoiding using, remember, the other lot also covered some apps, and I never wanted to repeat the apps. That's why you find the Django apps and the Flash apps are quite different from the previous cohorts that we have been hosting for this training. I am trying to make sure that the learning pattern becomes unique so that you do not reproduce your colleagues' script or source code, because that would literally means that you have not learned. Now, the things I want to talk about is the web scraping. Since I'm doing web development, web scraping with beautiful soup. Yeah, I know very well that I'd ask you to go and learn web scraping on your own. But now that I'm doing web development, why not cover it for you and make life easier? You know, I'm a person who is always inspired when I first guide you how to do things the right way. Then I would focus so much onto the quality of your work. But at least you should have seen it from me, because there are so many ways how people try to train in these modules, but some concepts are not well covered according to the modern ways how the PEP 8 guideline and how you should write your script. So I'll be able to do for you web scraping. And with this web scraping, if you don't do it now, don't worry. I told you I got you covered with the pre-recorded classes, which are doing quite very well. Because if you look at how the students were able to respond, I'm sorry for the deadline being tough, but you could see this is a response that most of you were able to submit their work before 9 a.m. today. I sent this via email and I've been reading. There are people that I always read their work. My first student to submit the work, I don't know his name, but I could check it here because I was reading his work. I think he is Joseph. No, he's around here. Okay, I don't know, but he submitted the work right that very day I uploaded the content, which is a good thing. And I'm happy for you. I failed just to locate your name, but don't worry. I know you for the good work. Then another thing that I wanted to mention, because the number is now 71, we're almost getting there. Just needed some number and we proceed, but still I'll also be covering as the introductory part, at least some background. Today is not going to be, I don't want to start right with the coding. I will do the coding of setting up Django onto our machine. But for now, my focus is to make sure that life is easier. I don't want to complicate things. I normally start from complex. So today I want to start from simple to complex, because Livingston is not going to help me in the afternoon. So I'm going to make sure that because he's sick, and we pray for a quick recovery. And if you have time, please, you could write those good emails so that when he reads your email, he can be motivated to come back and read. That's one good thing whenever you hear your lecturer is sick. Yeah, you need to write some good email to I know they will get time and maybe get the gadgets and read those. It helps them a lot to quickly recover. Just write compose some good email and send to them. That's a good thing. It's the best way to check on your colleagues. Then another thing that I'm also going to mention is that this is the one you're going to learn on your own. Learn on your own. It's going to be, you're going to learn Python, my SQL, and MongoDB. These are just databases, but I know very well that you could also, if I get time, I'm going, of course, if I get time, I'm going to try my best to make sure that you guys get the pre-recorded classes for this. Only for this particular one, and this is the end, you would have covered the entire Python programming, which basically Python as a language, then data science, machine learning, and web development. Python, my SQL, and MongoDB. Okay, these are the things that you would cover when it gets to Python. But when you look at it, we covered Python as a language, data science, machine learning, web development. And I've given you your assignment. The only thing that you need from me, for those who are doing machine learning and data science, is the data set. For web development, it's very clear. Maybe I should show you that you're already coming to 77. I don't want to start setting up this environment when you're not there, because please tell your friends to join. I'm only giving you like 3 to 4 more minutes. I'll just start setting up my environment. Maybe Doctor would share the recording if you missed, so that it can guide you on this, because in the pre-recorded classes, I'll make the assumption that you already know how to set up Django onto your computer. Now, this is what I'm talking about. This is the project allocation. You should maintain the group that you are in, but in that group, you should be 5 in a group, maximum of 5. And these are the group letters. A, Y. You could pick up the letter basing on what, and remember, each group picks 1 letter at a time. So these are the letters which are there in the project allocation. You read the instructions. The instructions are here. You already have them on your email. I'm sure you have read them. Yeah, this is the final project. And the project starts today and it ends on 11. The final presentation will be done on before 12. So for those who finish before 12, yeah, they would create a date through the class rep so that they can come and make their presentation. We will have it blended for Doctor to log in and also see. I know Doctor sometimes like coming in into the first week, the first 2 groups maybe, and then she may leave us to continue with the rest of the groups. That's what I know she normally likes doing. So just prepare for that, but it's going to be before 12 August. So by around 15th, you should be able to get your marks, and the final results will be submitted to Doctor around 15th. I'll try to make sure that I mark. By this week, I'll be done with compiling all your assignment, which takes the 40%. of the individual assignments. And today I'm going to give you another assignment that you're going to do using web scraping. Okay, so these are the letters A, Y, Z. You just pick one letter at a time. And you better pick the letters earlier. Create a Google Doc, Zara. Whoever picks the letter, share with me the link to the Google Doc, which contains the Excel sheet, so that I'll be checking the groups that I've already picked out these assignments. And I send them the data sets. But of course, I will share the data set with everyone. But pick up this letter much earlier, because if a group has already chosen S, I, remember you cannot pick I again. If all these letters are taken and there are some people who don't have groups, who don't have any project, you let me know on email, then I'll create more letter like A1, B1, C2, C1, like that, to take care of other groups, because I've failed to get the actual number of students. But with this letter, it takes about 140 students. Maybe Zara would type in the chat to let me know how many students are there. So with the Flask project, you're going to build a platform that connects students with internship and job opportunities, allowing them to submit resumes and view job listing. With Django project, you will create a web app that provides a map of campus, which is our campus, that is Makerere University, and allow students to find buildings, classrooms, and other locations. The more creative you are, the more marks you earn for your group. Then for the Django project, also here, build a system for collecting feedback from students about courses, instructors, and campus facilities. Since Django is used in almost every field, I've just decided to restrict this to avoid also, because I know with the admin lti.io, you guys are also going to use kind of like templates, which I can't control it. But of course I will know, but which is okay. But as long as you know how to integrate those templates. So then for the machine learning, it's going to be a fingerprint data set, which I promise you, but I will guide you how to go about the assignment. Then also for the data set for machine learning, you're also going to deal with audio bird songs. Then for this data science, of course, it's going to be the normal data sets you do the analysis. And then for supervision, just to remind you that every group will be supervised at least once, because there are many groups, but I will make sure that I supervise each and every group once physically on campus, starting maybe on Monday. Yeah, starting on Monday, that will run about 2 weeks. But those who are willing to meet me, I'll see, because I have a training with Dr. Grace for low code or no code for about 3 days, starting on Thursday to Saturday. So that means until Monday, that's when we could start meeting physically on campus. But I can meet you on Zoom. That's why I created the alternative for Zoom. Just in case I can't make it for this week, you would use this Zoom for me to guide you. And of course, to make it much better, you would submit your work via my email and Livingstone's email, and then create I know you would be having a Git repository where you will upload the source code. And before the end of Wednesday, you should upload all your working that you have been doing into a Git repository. I'll try to create a video to show you how to upload all your work onto a Git repository to guide you if I don't get the time today. So the number is 83. You guys have refused to join, but it's okay. I'll now start from there. So the project runs for 2 weeks, 24th, which is from today. Okay, they run for more weeks than when you look at the days. I made it so that you can start much earlier, so that by 15th, before campus resumes on 19th, you guys have your results. I think that is it. Back to business. All right. Python as a language. So we're now coming to, we first take notes, then we'd move on. Now, with the introduction to Python, I just want you to understand one thing, that Python is basically Django is basically a framework that makes it easier to create website using Python. So this is just the background a bit for you to know much more about it. Just to make sure that you don't say, you're fast, you're what. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. But I know it's going to be fun. We'll first finish Django, then we do maybe Flask. The rest you can continue writing because you have done some Bootstrap, you have done some HTML, so that should be good. So let's see how we can continue doing it. So what you're going to do here is we are going to, of course, I'm just explaining. So Django is Python framework that make it easier to create websites using Python. Now, just for you to understand that it's just a framework that makes you, some people say it differently. First, it's open source. Open source means you don't pay for it. Open source web framework. That means being open source, you do not pay any money to get it. Then another thing is also it uses the MVP. MVT, which basically it's called module view template. So that means this is the part where I was talking about, that it uses the model view templates. That means it's going to be much easier for you to work with the templates when it comes to what Python. Then also there's this thing that we used to struggle with it those days back, the admin interface. Remember, you're supposed to code the admin interface, the login interface. But these days they have defined the login interface to be much easier. That's why you can use the admin LTE, which can help you get the interface. You don't have to spend a lot of time creating that. So with the admin interface, Django also provides an automatic. When I say automatic, means already pre-designed automatic interface to that allows developers to manage their websites. Then another thing that I wanted to mention, that you should not compare Django with client-side application apps, because Django Django is a server-side application. That means we're going to deal with more of the HTTP response. You remember, they're trying to solve this business, and it's a framework for perfectionists. Those ones who are good at completing a project with deadlines. If you want to complete any website or web application with deadlines, Django would be the best option. Now, there are so many popular platforms that are created using Django. One of them is Instagram. These are blogging platforms. There are so many. I'd wanted you to build maybe a blogging website, but I realized that it is going to be easier for you to get those source code somewhere and for blog posts and what. That's why I made it much unique. I wanted you to also do something in health. I realized there are very many. You might reproduce the source code. That's why I said, let me be a little bit unique. So that's why I decided to do that. But Django is a server side. You can't compare Django with Angular or React. The client sides are normally React. And by the way, make sure you learn React if you want to fit into the job market of today. Angular and so on. These are client sites that you could get them. And Vue. For those of you who have had some background in Laravel development, you could use those client sites like Vue.js. For those ones who have been building application with Vue is good. It's a JavaScript. It helps you to control the display of your web application. So that's a good thing that you could consider. These are the client side, React, Angular, Vue. But Django, you could just compare it, since it's a server side. You can compare it with Django. You can compare Django with ASP.NET, which is a C#. Is it C#? Yeah, I think C# application. Then you can also compare it with Express. Those are server-side applications that uses the HTTP response. Then let's come to the database support. Database support. Since I have made it clear that I may not cover the SQL, but Django also, just to make sure that you pick up something, Django uses or Django includes DB, like PostgreSQL, MySQL. I know some of you will use the SQLite. The SQLite, Oracle databases, and MongoDB. So these are the databases that you can pick when dealing with what? When dealing with your Django. I'm almost getting done, then we start setting up. Because I don't want you to say that, no background, straight to setting up. No, the background is here. Now, so those are the databases that you would need to use. I forgot to mention something. Please, because I know many of you are wondering that we really want the easiest way to build website. I can teach you how to build apps like mobile apps and web apps in 20 minutes. with no code. Make sure you check out, you keep checking when you get done with schools. Okay, not school, but this is what I will do for you. I'll teach you how to build mobile apps, web apps in 20 minutes, no code. All you need to do is just learn how to deal with databases. And the databases, to make it easier, you can use Excel. Interesting. Just great. So I'll show you this, but not in the normal class. But this is going to be a bonus for you. Isn't it beautiful? You build a mobile app in 20 minutes, and also launch it on Google Play Store. I'll show it to you. It's fun and it's simple. Then also the URLs. I know I'm going to talk about it more. URL routing. So in Django, we use a lot of URL routing. Now, this URL helps to map your URLs to views. Helps to map URLs to views, because that's the next thing, and it makes it easier to define the URL patterns of your application. So makes it easier to define URL patterns of your application. So we'll talk more about the URLs. Then also this other one, which is templates. I told you I can't stop you from using templates, because Django allows developers to create dynamic HTML pages. So basically allows you to create dynamic HTML templates. Now, these template pages, of course, but you need to have some background in HTML. But of course, I also prefer guys who may do more of Bootstrap, because Bootstrap is much better than, I don't know, but you try it out. Bootstrap. Okay. So it allows you to work with those templates, and you could just customize those templates to deal with what you want. But the most important thing is learn to understand databases, because that is where you would probably store almost your records, your logins, all the development starts with a good layout of the requirements from the databases. Like the project I've given you, what are you picking? Are you picking the username? Are you picking the emails? All those things you need to specify it into what? Your databases, so that it becomes much easier for when you input something, it is stored directly into your what? Into your SQL, or in form of those tables that you create into your SQL. That is something that I know you have tried on your own in Laravel application, but you have to do it much better. I'll guide you on that. Then also form handling. Okay. I'm about to summarize this. So forms can also be used mostly when you're dealing with validation of input, because you're going to create forms, but when it comes to validation of inputs, remember inputs is basically to capture information from the users. So you will be able to use those forms to process that. That's one thing that processing user inputs. So you can use also forms for handling such situations, which is a good thing that you also have to do. Then we also have what we call authentication. Authentication and authorization. So authorization is basically the login. I've just decided to make it much easier. So you need to know, also have that functionalities. Django also allows you to create those logins for authentications, password, and etc. Then there's something also called the middleware, which basically allows developers, allows you to add extra functionalities. Allows you to add extra functionalities to now this is where the main thing comes, to request or response processing pipelines. So those are the things that you need to understand very well when dealing with Django. Then testing. So for testing, basically helps you how to run your application. Now, of course, this testing comes with those frameworks that basically allows you how to run your application. Then there's also another thing which I'm not going to just type here, is called internalization and then localization, which just to help, this is the supporting multiple languages. Internalization allows you to support multiple languages. So these are the things that you need to take note when it comes to Django. Now, I feel like something small that I can summarize when talking about Django is this last bit of it. So Django also uses the CRUD operators. Django uses the CRUD module, or some people like calling it operator. Now, to just check if I have live students in class, what does the C stand for? You can unmute and tell us.
Create.
Okay, create. Then the U, no, the R.
Read.
Then the U.
Update.
And delete.
Okay, nice. That means we are in class. So one of the things is that it allows you to perform those dry, do not repeat yourself when it comes to creating, reading, and then updating. So those can all be handled in what? In Django. So the main things that we will focus on right now is we'll focus ourselves onto the three things. The module. What are the modules that are common in how does Django work? So Django works with the module. How Django works. So Django works with the module, and then also Django works with view, and templates. So the module is just the data you want to present. Then the views is a request. Basically, we call it a request handler. That returns the relevant templates and content. Then the template, normally the HTML files. I talked about it there up. I hope you remember that I mentioned it, the HTML files, which contains web page layout. So these are the things that you need to consider when dealing with Django. Now, before you get started with Django, just to guide you a bit, before you get started with Django, get started with Django. Before you get started with Django, I would advise you, because we are now going to basically focus on, getting started with Django. We are going to focus on, there are so many ways to create Django projects, but I want you to use my standard. So we are going to create Django works with virtual environment. We are going to create virtual environments. I know people may ask me, what are virtual environments? I told you to read them. Then we are going to install Django. Then after that, we are going to create project first. Then we are going to create, now these are the steps that are normally done. Create projects, then create app, then we will look at Django views. Then we will look at URLs. We look at templates. We look at modules. Then we will insert data, update data, delete data, and update module. So this is what we will do. If we do not cover all this today, I'll give you a pre-recorded class for that. But let's go and start our installation. Now, for you to install Django, which I expect you to do it on your end, that side, okay? I already have Django installed on my machine. I've used Django before, and I've used it all the time. But for this particular training, I decided to make it easier for you to follow along with me. That's why you see, I created a folder on the desktop. And the folder on the desktop, let me try to CD to my desktop. So when I CD to my desktop, you could see I created a folder here. Oops. I created a folder here called Web Development. So one of the things that you could do, you could also create a folder, because me, the folders that I normally use a lot, the one for data science, those are all data science projects, machine learning projects, web development projects. Then these video things, because these are where I normally do my other video clips for you. I put them in that project. Then to-do list, these are things I'm supposed to do every day when I wake up. This is the first thing I check. Okay, so I can try to CD into web development. CD into web development. I know you should also be doing that on your end. CD into web development. Now I can list to see what are the folders inside web development. So inside web development, I have a folder, Django. It's a folder. When you point over it, it tells you the focus folder. Then I also have a text. This is the text that we are. This text here, Django note. This Django note is basically to give you the notes that you need on Django. Then I have another folder for Flask, which is empty. Then this Ruth.txt is just the link for our Zoom class. I always put the link in one directory so that when I want to log in class, everything I need is within that folder. But my focus is that maybe we make a directory. I'm just using this to teach you. So you could create a folder on the desktop. You could do it using use the command line. So now, if I make another folder inside the desktop, because right inside that folder, if I'm to CD into Django, there are already some. Let me try to show it to you here. When I go inside Django folder, you realize that inside this folder, I already have an app, which is Jeff app, and inside the Jeff app, I have my Django installed here. Now you can see these URLs which I talked about are here. Then when I come to settings, it shows me the apps which are installed, which I will talk about it. But I want to show you how to do this yourself. Then this, yeah, basically that. And then manage.py. That's what it comes with it. Then the DB, it comes with the DB SQLite, where you could set up your databases from. But let's learn how to set up Django onto our machine. Okay, I'm not going to do it in that same folder, Django. I'm just going to create another folder. I'm just going to create another folder. Since I've called it Django, which folder can I call it? Huh? Oh, let's see. Okay, I'm just going to create a folder called Django Recess. So you just do, I don't know the command line of window, because I told you I left window long time. You just do make directory, then the folder name. So I can call it Django Recess or Recess Django. Let me just call it Django Recess. That becomes a little bit. Okay, let me just call it Jeff. Yeah, okay, I'm just calling it Jeff Django. That is it. You can create any name. So when you press enter and you ls, you should see another folder. CD into that folder. Okay, before you CD into that folder, let's install. Let me close this. It's going to confuse you. Okay, let's install the environment. Remember, I talked about it here, that you need, before you start anything, we shall use these steps. You need to create a virtual environment. For you to create a virtual environment, you just need to do pip3 for the Python 3, install pip env. I've already started coding. So when I ask you, do you understand? Don't tell me you don't understand, because you will disorganize my day. I'll be thinking about how to help you throughout. But it's okay. You can let me know. So what this pip env does, it creates a virtual environment. So this is our first important step that we need to do to create a virtual environment. So when you run pip install, you press enter. So it will install the pip. So a new release of pip is available. So what is the new release? Is pip 23.2 to 23.2.1. So the new release is 23.2.1. So I can get to the latest update by just running pip pip install, then upgrade pip. Now you could see here, successfully install pip 23.2.1. That is done. Okay. On your side, I'm first going to stop sharing my screen. Let's just try to show me that you have installed pip virtual environment onto your machine before we go to the next item of installing Django. I'm going to stop sharing, then you show me. Okay. I was worried that you're not following. command for virtual environment? Trevor. So the command for virtual environment is here. Pip install. I don't know how to install it. It should also be pip install. You should check it out. So pip install, pip3 install pip and env. Let's have about 1 or 2 people sharing the screen. Okay, nice. Share your screen. It's installing. So in Windows, right?
Yeah, in Windows. This is Abdallah.
Yes, Abdallah. So in Windows, what's the command? Do you use the same command?
The same command, yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay.
Okay.
So this is how you install, okay, a lady. Let's have a lady. Let me disturb other people here who have never. Should we update the version? Please update. Update if there's a new version. I just saw it today. So it's important to stay up to date. Elijah, I mean. So there's a new update. You update. Are we all moving on well? No friction. Any other person? I've not done anything much. I know you when I'm introducing something new like this, you will flood me with the comment section. What's the command for this? Which command? Which command, Owen? Owen, which command?
For upgrade.
Upgrade. Okay. I'm doing it slowly because I don't want you to lose focus. That's the command. Are you able to see it? Are you able to see it? Guys. Guys. Are you able to see it?
Yes.
Have you updated the pip version? Pip install pip.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. Remember, I'm following what you guys are saying. Don't say I'm very fast, you guys. Forgive me because you know me, I told you I built all my applications using Django. Yeah, I work with only Python. I built most of my application using Django and React. Laravel, a little, not too much. Those are the only things I do these days. I've tried to remove myself from learning so many programming languages because it reduces on my productivity. So that's why I only focus on Python, Laravel, React. And when I look at the job requirements, if they don't have those ones, I don't go for those jobs. But it is very easy to learn any programming language. Very simple. Now we are going to go to the next thing. Remember that we created a directory. Okay? Remember we did what? We created a directory. And now we want to install Django in that directory. We want to install Django in that directory. But before we go there, there is this one important extension that you always need to help you with linting, debugging, and so on. Let's check that extension. You come to what? Extension. Then you type here, just type Python. Now, when you type Python, it is going to be Intel Sense. Click on that. Make sure it's about 91 million installation that has happened. So this, make sure you install this. I know many of you could have installed it much earlier. This helps you in linting, debugging, multi-threads, and then please install this extension. It is very, very important for debugging. If you don't have it installed, it's the Intel Sense. Otherwise, you'll be getting errors. Are you all okay with the installation of extension? I'm moving to the next item. Create Django project. Are you all done? Say yes. Are you done with the? I don't want you to miss this. Okay. Since there's nothing in the chat, I'll proceed. Do you have the extension? Just say yes. Type yes if you have it. Type yes in the chat for me to see if you have the extension. Alanda, yes. Yes. Atong, Laura, yes. I want to go slow so that you don't say, hey, you're very fast, we did not. Not today. I don't want you to embarrass me in front here. Okay. Now I can close that extension. Now that we have the extension, I now want to, I want you, remember, let me ls. Remember you created a folder. Me, I created my folder, Jeff Django. I don't know which folder you created on your end there. But all I know is that I told you to create a folder using the mk make direction. You create a folder and then you call it a folder name. So I want us to just go into that folder directory. So I'm just going to do cd dot /. For those who are using Linux, Ubuntu, okay, Linux operating system, Mac OS, you use the /. For those who are using Windows, you use the /. I hope you know that, right? Don't say that if you're not using Ubuntu or Linux or Mac, don't use the /, use the /. So you just do cd, then because the file name is here, it's Jeff Django, and press enter. Now I've changed my directory to Jeff Django. Now if I ls in it, you realize I don't have anything in that folder. And it's very true, I can check it here. I don't have anything in that folder. Now, we want to install Django. We want to do what? We want to install Django. So for us to install Django inside that folder that we have created, you type this command pip env install Django. The reason why I'm calling it Django and I'm not pronouncing the word D, some of you may call it Django. Hey, that's kind of weird. The D is silent. It's called Django. So pip install Django. Then you press enter. All right. Let's check. We managed to install Django. You could see success. Means we already installed Django onto our machine. Are we together? We managed to install Django, and Django is on our machine. Let us check if we can see the pip files and the pip file lock into the Django directory. You just do ls to see the files which are into the Django directory. Yeah. Yes? Am I too fast? What was
the command for installation?
Oh, it's here. Pip env install Django. Yeah, moving slowly, no rush. I want to lay a good, you guys have laid a good foundation. I hope I'll get people to work for good organizations. You could even check here. When you drop here, you realize you have pip, you have file. You could even click on it directly. But I want to use another.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Getting errors.
You're getting errors. Share the screen.
Okay, maybe I've not installed some extensions. Let me share.
Which OS are you using?
Windows.
Windows.
Yes.
Okay, first ls into that directory. Just do ls. There's nothing inside there, right?
Yes, there is nothing.
Did you install virtual environment?
Which one, sir?
No, first do Python. The extension we check. Just type there Python.
The extension is there, I believe.
It's there.
Isn't it this one?
Yeah, it's that one.
Yeah,
okay.
It is there.
Then did you install the virtual environment?
No, not really, maybe. How can I check for it?
The command is in the chat. Can someone drop for him the command? pip3 install pip env.
Pip3.
Space install
env.
pip env.
Pip env. Oh, maybe that's the problem.
You didn't install.
I believe I may be good to go now.
Hold on. We are using your screen to teach others. Is it done?
Not yet. Yeah, it is done.
Okay. Now you need first to create a folder where you're going to work from. You do mk dir make directory.
With the space?
I don't know in Windows. There's no space. Space. Then the file name. What's the file name that you want to create?
Django.
No, you already have Django. Django, it's going to be a lot. Maybe another name.
Okay, well, I'm sorry. I went in there to take a nap. I don't know I shouldn't, but you got that.
Maybe that one.
Okay, you create that. Now you already have that folder. Okay. Now you cd into that directory. Okay, then you install Django. Pip env install Django. Now there's no error.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. You could stop sharing. Okay. Are we all at the same pace? Are we all at the same pace? Let me
Yes.
check it. Okay. All right. Now let's go to the next important thing. In the next important thing, which I told you just to do ls to check the files which are there. Okay. So maybe if you want to see those files, you could just type code dot, and you know this code dot will just open your what? Your VS Code. And of course, I know all of us are using VS Code. So when you open code.vs, it will show you the files which are there. So these are the files which are there. I'm just using this, but I will close it. So we have this pip file, which shows you the version, which version are you running Django on. So me, I'm running Django on 3.10. Remember, I explained to you earlier that when you are installing, okay, especially if you're using Ubuntu, when you're installing Ubuntu, Ubuntu comes with the default Python, which is 3.10. Sometimes you get issues with setting the kernel. That's why you have to change. But the latest version of Python is 3.11. So this is what I'm using. You may find yours is different, okay? So which is okay. But this is basically shows you the version. Then it takes any Django versions. Remember, Django version right now is 4.2. But there's also Django version 3.5, 3. What? All those other Django versions are there. So that's one thing that you could also consider when dealing with what? Python. So with all this said, I could now close this part and go to the next thing. How to activate virtual environment. I've not been writing for you the steps here. Should I write the steps here so that you could follow it later? Just basically, okay, I'll write it faster. Eh? Okay, someone is saying thanks. Let me write the steps so that you know what we have done. So it's all about Django setups. So the first one is create virtual environment, which the command is pip 3 install pip pip 3 install pip e. Then the next command is okay. The next one is install extension. For those one who don't have, but of course you guys have. The extension is the Python Intel Sense. Okay. Then just to guide you, Then create Django project. First, make the directory. So which is going to be basically mkdir, then the directory name. Then the next one is install Django, which is going to be pip env install Django. Okay, I think we are still moving on well. Then you could check Django files by ls. That is the next. Then now we are now going to activate virtual environment. Now, which is going to be simple. You just use this command pip env shell. If you have a problem, just let me know right away. Okay, let me clear this. I'm still within the same directory. I'm going to install shell pip env shell. Okay. I've already set my virtual environment. It picks directly from the default and activates, but I'm going to show it to you. Now we want to start a new project. You should do that. Pip env shell. I know it will do that. Then start new Django project. So for you to start new Django project, you're going to do Django admin start project. So the project can be I'm just going to call it my app. My app. Yeah. Then I space. So this is how I'm going to start my project. Let me clear up this. Now I'm going to start my project. Now for me to start my project, I'm supposed to run the command Django admin start project. Now the project name, my project is just going to be my app. My app, Jeff app, my app, then I space, then I put a dot. Let me first explain something here. If you do not put the dot, let me first not put the dot. If you do not put the dot and press enter, then you come inside the application that you created. It's here, Jeff Django. You see, it will create my app. Okay, it will create my app. Then inside, when you check, you'll find again my app. Then you go. So it has created my app, which is not necessary. Which is really what? Not necessary. That means you should just use the dot. When you use the dot, the use of the dot is to avoid creating subfolders inside the folder. So when you list through that folder, you see a folder, my app, literally, which is not necessary. We wanted it to create inside Jeff Django, it creates just my app. So what I will do, I'll first delete this entire, I'll first delete this. Okay, let me see if I can first delete all that. Then I will make the directory again, just for you to understand. I've explained for you the consequences of not using that. So I'll make dr, make directory for Jeff Django. Okay, make directory Jeff Django. Okay. Not so sure about this. Make directory Jeff Django. I think I've made some small mistake here. It should have been okay. It should have been, let me first cd into desktop. Cd into web development. Okay, so it's here where I wanted to make that directory. I wanted to make directory Jeff Django, which is this one. There's nothing in it. Okay, now inside that make directory Jeff Django, I can now cd into Jeff Django because I deleted it. Remember, I deleted it. Okay, so ls. Now there's nothing into that folder. You know that step, you've done it. So what I want to do now, I just want to install my Django pip env install Django. So I have Django installed. I can see the pip file. Remember, I said you could do code, then you see if Django is installed by checking into the environment, which I did. I'm not going to repeat that. I just made some few mistakes and I'm trying to resume what I've done. Then now I also have to activate, this is Django file. Okay, then now I have to pip install, activate the virtual environment. Pip env shell. Pip env shell. New shell not activated to avoid nested environment. So already activated. That's fine. So you do it once. Then now I want to start my new application. So I'm going to do Django admin start project. My my app. Then space. When you start project my app, space, then put a dot to avoid creating the double folders that I talked about. Then you just do enter. Now, when you LL, you'll just see only my app. You only see one folder there. Inside that, then you see my folder. When you go, now it avoid creating my app. So that is the best way to create that. Then now the last one, which I want you to do, is to run the server. Members, are we okay? Are we okay up to this point? Because I think I'm moving a little bit faster. I'm feeling it.
Mine is picking. Like there's no module named Django when I try to run it.
Stop. Share your screen. Share your screen. If you can't, I just continue.
Yes. Okay, that's my screen. I normally include Python when running this because if you just run only the Django admin, it won't be able to run. But when I try to run it, they are saying no module named Django.
So what's the challenge?
Okay,
When
like
you
nothing,
okay, when you do Django underscore admin start my app, what do you get?
Django underscore.
Django. Okay. You first go to your folder because I think I'm even getting. Let's check.
That's right.
Okay, you have, I see you have the pip file.
Yeah.
So the only problem is that you cannot start a Django project, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now because you're using Windows, not so.
Yes.
And you, okay, let's see if you can. Did you activate the virtual environment?
Yes, I activated.
Okay. If you have activated the virtual environment, you are supposed to do Django -admin start my app. But I see you're putting Python -m Django admin start my app. Is that how they do it in Windows?
That one. No, yes, I tried that one, but still, it was not running at all. I tried
It was not running.
This one. Yeah, that one.
First press.
Like nothing happens there. That's why I normally include the Python extension.
Okay, you include the Python extension.
So when I try also to include it, now there I get like no module named the Django admin.
That is a problem to be solved. That is a problem to be solved. What if you do, are we all experiencing the same thing? Can someone help this gentleman?
Sami, I think it may be the problem of configuring Python at first because mine ran without any window. And I used the same command without even putting Python, and it was run, it has created the project. I think the problem could be how he configure his Python, because if the command cannot run like that, that means the environment
It didn't add the Python to path environment.
Yeah, it has not been configured well in the path.
Hey, Owen, have you heard? That's why I told you guys to delete your Windows things.
No, yes, but I think the Python is well configured because actually from the start, from where I started the research, it like installing all the frameworks
properly.
Personally, it wasn't working. If you just run only the command, for example, only pip, you normally had to include the Python extension for it to run. And I think maybe because I'm using Windows 10, because mostly, maybe if also Abda is also using Windows 10, maybe I can.
Is there anyone you're using Windows 10?
Yeah, Windows
I'm
10.
using Windows 10 too.
Okay. I think Abdal, you guide him, maybe off class. I don't know.
Okay. It's okay.
You know the most stubborn person in my class is Owen. He asks very many questions, he complains, and he sends very many emails. So it's like I have to dedicate my time to handling Owen's issues, which is a good thing. You learn from he doesn't want to be left behind. That's what I know. Any other person experiencing an error, Owen, I will guide you, but you
Excuse
also
me,
check
sir.
on. Yes.
Yes, I have a solution that Owen can try.
Okay, you share your screen and try to give the solution. I don't use Windows, so you forgive me for that part.
Oh, shit. Oh, sir, I was using my phone for the class, so maybe I'll take a picture or write the code for him to try.
Okay, good of you. Owen, I hope you know. What's your name?
Trisha Agaba.
Trisha. Okay, thanks, Trisha. So, can we proceed?
Yeah.
So it's only Owen who is left out at this stage now. All right. So we are almost there. Now we are coming to run server. For us to start or run our server, it is important to use Python manage.py, because when you check inside that folder, you see the manage.py. So this manage.py is the one that helps also to what? To run the server. Don't worry about this code for now. I will explain this when you are done with what? With setting up our Python. I'll try to explain these codes, the default codes at a time. But so manage.py.
No, sir.
Yes.
Your code doesn't show errors, but mine it does. So
Which OS are you using?
Windows 11.
Windows 11. Which error does it show?
Oh, okay. They just underlined, for example, that os.environment.set default. Mine is underlined.
Which OS? This one?
No, okay. In the try block.
Just share your screen.
Let me share. I mean here.
On the try part.
Yes. Even others are underlined maybe in other folders. Just don't like this one too is underlined.
Maybe there's a module which is missing.
I don't know.
I think do you have Python extension?
I think maybe the issue here may be that either you didn't activate your virtual environment or you didn't install Django to the virtual environment, or both.
But I did everything.
You get in touch with is it there's someone who, okay, members, I think this is the time that you need to try to meet your friends and try to solve these issues. If you have a problem, if you can help, please, if you are in a better shape to help these guys, you could type in the chat here so that you could type your contacts. I think you all know your contacts so that you can help each other.
How about the last extension, the IntelliSense?
Has he installed that?
Yeah,
Okay, you
I
try
have
to
that.
help him, those one who are using Windows. Try to help him.
See, my virtual environment is already activated. So I don't know what could be the problem. Maybe we continue.
Let's continue. We shall see. I know why you are saying that, because when I say you do an assignment, many of you are going to come for me. So Wilfred is saying that I think you are missing the Python extension.
I have everything installed. The Python extension is there.
Okay, we shall see what to do. I'm not here to crucify you, but I'm here to make sure that okay, let's first proceed. You will tell me if you can't reach up to this level. So we are all going to run server. Now, when it comes to running server, what you are going to do, we're just going to just put this down. We are going to put Python manage, because we have manage, which can help manage run server. Run server. Now, remember, I'm just going to explain this. Remember, when you do run server, when you do Python manage py run server, remember, it will use the default port 8000. But if you want to specify another port, to specify another port, if you have maybe an application which is running on that port 8000, we might find people with those challenges. If you have an application running on another application running on that port 8000, you could create another port, create another port like 8080 or 700 or 900. You could try to change, but how do you do that? That means your code must be Python manage.py. Then at the extreme end, you can put like maybe 900. So this would help to get for you another port for you to run. But we will see this. Let me run and I see if you guys are getting issues with the port up to some level. Then I will show you how to integrate the terminal in VS Code. Then I think we're good to go. Let me first run my server. I'm going to say Python manage.py run server. Remember, in my pre-recorded classes, I will not be explaining this. I'll assume that you already know this and then start working right away. So let me run this and see what will happen in the terminal. Now here, I see the port is already in use. I reading this part. The port is already in use because I told you I already have an application that is already running on that port. Now maybe I could come back here and first stop. Control C. Clear. I could Control C to stop what is running on that port. Then now let me go to another terminal. Because I had to, add some application running on that terminal. Now I can run server again. Now this time around, there's no application running on that port. So I can press Control click, or I could use I could use 1.2, you know, the default 1.2.0. This is the default IP address of a local server. It is 127.0.0.1. Then you put /8000. You press enter. So once you have this screen here, that means that you have successfully installed Django. The install works successfully. Congratulations. So this is the part that I really want you to reach up to this level. This is the first thing I want you to do, reach up to this level. Then I'll show you how to integrate what? I'll show you how to integrate your terminal. And once you're done integrating your terminal, then I think this should be a good thing. Now I'm going to stop sharing my screen, allow you share your screen if you have been able to install Django. For those who have succeeded, please share your screen. Let's have a look at that. Okay. Nice. Monica, you don't have a voice. You also talk so that I hear your voices. Atong, at least I've met you. How are you, Atong?
Yeah, I'm okay, sir.
Things are moving well today. What is it? Are things moving well today? Remember, you are learning on your own. So are my ways of working different from what you know?
They're not that different. Yeah,
but is there any new thing you're learning?
Yeah, I'm kind of learning some new things.
Okay.
Okay,
it's good.
This is where I've reached so far.
First, wait, we are all going to reach there. That's what I want to see. Then we shall go to URLs. Okay, any other person? Wow. Kevin, you've also managed to reach this level.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Okay.
Yeah, so I've reached that level, but I'm getting an error in my CMD.
Yes, oh, that one, oh, it's okay. For now, first, don't mind about it. We're going to, I'll resolve it for you. Okay, I also have that error. I also have it.
Fine.
Okay. Any other person? Hey, I want, yes, Abudala Odori. Okay. Now I want, where is Damulira? Owen, can you share your screen? Owen, have you reached this level?
Yes, I'm still trying.
Looking for
I'm
Owen.
still trying to.
You haven't reached. You haven't arrived.
Yes, I'm still fixing my error.
Okay.
Jeff Geoff.
All right, Trevor, well done. Okay, I want everyone to share. We are in a break for like 9 minutes, then we will proceed. But I want everyone to at least try to share their screen. Because from this point, you cannot proceed if you can't reach this level. Because what do you expect me to be doing? I'm going to start building a web app using templates, okay? I'm actually going to start dealing with Python views. So we are in for a break, but please share your screen. Say, I am Martha, I've successfully managed to install Django and arrive and run my server successfully. Okay, people are not talking. Now, let me get back to the chat. I'm giving you time to fix your error because from this point, I think it might be difficult to proceed. Don't you think so? If you can't reach up to this level. Okay. Okay, so we are resuming at exactly 11. But you'll be sharing your screen. Be sharing your screen and be mentioning, I am so and so I've managed to reach up to this point. Okay. I know this next part, I'm going to get a lot of complaints, but I don't know what to do, but let me try my best. We are in for a break so that I don't leave you, you don't complain, so that, yeah. But I know next Wednesday is going to be much better. Are people really sharing screen? Okay, just to get to know, we are 92. 92. Okay, I'll get the number. For those ones who have managed to reach up to that level, type 1. For those ones who have not reached that level, type 0. I'll save the chat and then get to know how many people have succeeded. Then we'll proceed. I don't need to wait for everyone. Just type 1. 0, not yet. 1, yes. I see. I'm only looking at counts of 0. So far 2. Type faster. So 0, 3. Okay. So majority have managed to install Django, which is a good thing. Should we proceed? Or we wait for the 4 minutes? We need a unanimous consensus. Should we proceed? Kathy, should we proceed? Hey, no response. Okay, you type in the chat. Should we? Okay, wait. We wait. Proceed. We wait. Wait. Okay. Let us wait. For how many minutes? Proceed. Wait. Proceed. Wait. We wait. Okay. Okay, we are waiting for the next 3 minutes. Ambrose. 10 minutes till 11. Wait, Oscar. Okay. Okay, we are waiting.
Sir,
Yes.
what may be the cause of this problem? Because
We are ending at 11:30.
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm using a command line to open up a Django project. I have navigated to the desktop where I wanted to create my project and the environment from. But I have created a project, it's running, but I'm not seeing the project on the desktop.
Can you share your screen?
Okay.
But I hope today is better. Eh? The introductory part is better. You are not complaining so much in the chat. But of course, Wednesday just expect some kind of speed. Eh? Wednesday expect speed. But I will do a pre-recorded class tomorrow. Today I have to work. Yes.
So I have opened up a project. But I was using the command line, as you can see from here.
I can't see your command line.
If I check on the desktop, the folder doesn't exist.
I'm not seeing your desktop. I am not seeing your desktop. My ways are different. They're not like the ways on ChatGPT. Okay. It's 11. Okay. Please go ahead.
This is the command I was using. This is the command line I was using.
Is there anyone seeing the command line?
On checking up the project where on the desktop, the project that is not visible, but it can run.
So the project can run, but is not in that directory. Is that what you're saying?
The project is on. I created a project on the desktop, but the project is not visible on the desktop.
You first show us what is on your desktop. First, press Ctrl C. to stop the, just press Ctrl C. From this, just press Ctrl C.
It doesn't work.
Doesn't work, but it works.
It looks like the project is not under recess, but it is on desktop itself. So he CD recess 22.
Auntie.
Yeah, but recess 22 is not on the desktop.
Adam.
Okay, you first
Wait,
change back
is
to
it Adam
desktop.
speaking?
First CD to desktop. CD to desktop. Then LS desktop. In Windows, do they use LS to list? How do you list in Windows? Windows users, please help us. How do they list on Windows? Okay, it is DIR.
It is DIR.
DIR. Okay. It's okay. Uh-huh. What is your folder that you're working on? Because we can't see it there. You could change it to the folder. No, you CD to that folder and then you also DIR and we see which files are there. CD to recess 22 and then we see. Oyo tumuleke is going to eat all our time. All right. Congratulations for those ones who have been able to reach up to this point. I must say, webalenyo in Kiswahili, I don't know how to say it, but let's proceed. Now, just to make your life a little bit much better, we have successfully run up to this point, but there's one more important thing that I need to teach you before you get what? You get lost completely. The thing I want to teach you is changing the Python. Okay, this is what I want to show you. Create a virtual environment for VS Code to automatically activate the virtual environment. So that's what I want us to do. In order for us to do that, okay? In order for us to do that, there is something that I want you to do. Let us first, let me put this up. Let's first press Ctrl C. I've pressed Ctrl C to stop the server from running. Now, all I need, I told you that I also have this, you have 18 and unapplied migration. Don't worry about that 18 unapplied migration. I'll, like the admin I'll show it to you. May not be now, but in the pre-recorded class. Now, what I want you to do, I just want you, because right now, Python is using the default yours is using the default environment that is there. But when you look at mine from here, I have configured my virtual environment here. I've configured my virtual environment here, and it is speaking directly from my virtual environment. And how did I get to my virtual environment? This is what I did. I did pip. Let me type the command first here. The command is pip env, then virtual environment. So that's the command I use to view my directory of the virtual environment. So when you do pip env, then you do virtual environment, then you press enter. It is going to show you the virtual environment, and this is the virtual environment. This is my directory. Now what I want Python to do every time, I want it to activate. Okay? I want it to activate my virtual environment. So all I need to do, I want to integrate terminal in VS Code. I want to integrate terminal so that each and every time it keeps running my virtual environment. So how am I going to do that? To do that, first copy this. Copy this. Remember, you then right click, press Control Copy to copy that directory. Okay? Then from there, you're going to click on this 3 point. I don't know what you're using, but you click on it. Now let me first return this down. Then I click on it. Once you click on it, then you come here and say enter interpreter path. You click on enter interpreter path. Then you paste what you have copied. Then you put a /. For those using Linux and Mac, for those using Windows, I think you're going to use a /, because Windows uses a /. For Linux, /. Then you type bin. Then you put the interpreter, the Python interpreter, Python. Then after that, when you're sure you've typed it very well, you press enter. Then this interpreter changes to your environment. So this time round, what it does, when you run your Python environment, when you do pip, not pip, when you do Python manage.py run hello, I don't know, my internet maybe I jumped, so, but now I'm back. So what I was still explaining is that you could configure that environment for you to run your integrated terminal. I've explained it to you. So what you do, you just paste that code there, then you put forward bin forward Python. Then for those one using Windows, for those using Windows, use the backward slash. Use the backward slash for those one using Windows. So I don't know. I don't need even to ask you whether you have done it anyway. Yes.
There seems to be an issue for the Windows. I'm not so sure if it's in the bin folder.
Okay.
I will have to apologize. I'm not using my laptop. I'm using my phone, but I've checked and it seems to be that the Python executable is in the scripts folder instead of bin. It's in scripts.
Okay. So
like instead of putting bin, you would have to put like a backward slash, then put scripts, then put Python.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's the only thing that for those using Windows, remember me, I'm not using Windows. So just for that, could we have guys who are using Windows to try to share their screen and I see if they have implemented that part? So guys, at the end, were you successful? Oscar?
Yeah, what I was saying is that
okay,
when you are creating the virtual environment, you have to know the directory where you have put that virtual environment. Then after creating the project, you drag your virtual environment into that project. After, there is no need to always activate that environment.
Exactly, that's what I'm explaining.
Yeah, that's what I did.
So how did you do it? No one knows, because me, I've done it using Windows. Now, how about those people who are not using Windows? Can someone explain it to other people well? Because you will disturb me a lot, especially on the pre-recorded class. Remember, the pre-recorded class is just going to be what? I'm going to just be building the... Can someone help? Is there someone who has succeeded in creating an integrated terminal in VS Code? Is there someone who is successful?
What? But they're not available to people right now. Attended. So true. Maybe. Attended.
You guys.
Hello?
Yes.
I'm successful, but like my
Explain.
approach was just a bit different. So
show us your approach.
Okay.
As far as your approach, because I may think it's something small, but
okay, sorry for this. Okay, so my project, my Django project is called Study, and how I activated my virtual environment here in the folder, in the study folder, I created a new folder and I had called it .vscode. Yeah. Then inside there, I created a new file, settings.json. It's here, settings.json. So inside here, inside here, you create an object. You just put a what? You just do this, the curly braces. Then in the curly braces,
that lady should mute. She's disorganizing our class.
in the curly braces, what you're going to do is, okay, first of all, there was that thing you did of pip env.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Get
you,
the directory.
this is the directory here. So what I did, Python, okay, just the same thing that you see here. You say Python dot default interpreter path. Then colon. Then after here, you'll paste the path. But take note that when you paste, it's going to have one backslash, like it's going to have something like this, one backslash. So if you have a backslash, usually it is like when you're doing something like /n for a new line, for example. This is called an escape for a new line. But now, if you want to just put a normal backslash within a string, you have to escape the backslash. So that's why you see two backslashes. So what this does, it's going to
Daniel, have you been using Django before? I see you already have some URLs.
Yeah, I started learning some weeks back.
Okay. You explain to them?
Yeah, so when you do this and you save your settings.json, then whenever you open a new terminal, it's going to okay, let me wait for it to load. But also, as Rogers had said, was it Roger? As he had said, yeah, for Windows, we use the scripts folder instead of bin, and then it's python.exe. Yeah. So let me wait for this to load. I hope it's fast enough. But when it loads, it automatically connects you to your virtual environment.
Okay. You copy that, but still, your directory is always different.
See this?
It has loaded, yeah.
Yeah,
And
it automatically loads for you.
And it activates.
Yeah.
And now from there, it's easier for us to proceed.
Yeah.
But of course now, okay, let me just pray that that's what people should do. Then the next part from the pre-recorded class, can you repeat for those using Linux? Okay, you stop sharing, I show for those who are using Linux. Let me show. That is from, that I repeat for those using Linux. I'm not using Windows. So now I can first, so for those using Linux, what I said, sorry, I have this. For those using Linux, what I said here is that we want to integrate our terminal in VS Code so that it always what? It automatically activate the virtual environment. So what we do for those using Linux, first, you need to check the directory. For you to check the directory, you're going to type pip, you're going to type this command, pip env virtual environment to give us the directory. So pip env, it is much easier than those one using what? So it's much easier than those one using Windows. So when you type it pip env, then you press enter, it will show you the virtual environment, the directory. So what you do, you only copy this, you only copy that line you only copy this, then you right click and click on what? Copy. Now to set that directory, to integrate it in your VS Code, let me take this up a bit. You come to this Python virtual environment, okay, the environment, which is the interpreter. You click here. Then from this point here, it's going to ask you, select the interpreter. So we want the interpreter to be the one that we just picked from the virtual environment. So we enter interpreter path. We click here. Then you paste, because you copied this. This is what you copied, and this is what you have pasted. Then for you to put, you put /, then you do bin. Now when you do bin, for those using Windows, they say that for Windows, it's not called bin. It's called what? Script. So you could change it to script. You could use BARD or ChatGPT to help you how to do this. Then from that point, you now go and say the Python interpreter, which is Python, and then press enter. Now, when you come back here and then say, just for running the server, you come and say now, Python manage.py run server. Then you press enter. Then it will open the server. So you just go back to your, and then you type in the local IP address, which is 127.0.0.1.8000, the port. You press enter. Alternatively, you could press Control and then click on it. Control, it will take you to that link. So that is for those ones using what? For those ones using Linux. For those ones using Linux operating system and Mac OS, it's the same procedure. So allow me to, because of time, I'll just talk about a few things. When you now create, I'll talk about a few things, then that would be the end. We will start the other part in the pre-recorded class or when we meet. Now, when you come back to inside your Django project, then you go to my app. Then you go to the settings.py. You realize that here it's having the install app. But this install apps helps you. You remember these warnings which are there, admin or what, because we haven't set them. Okay. That's why it was giving you this warning, because of this migration of these interpretations, like the settings and so on, which we actually haven't covered it so much. But what we could do, we would later try to see how we can integrate some of these apps into, remember the middleware, I also explained this for this, the security middleware. But literally next time when we start working, okay, in the pre-recorded class, I'll try as much as possible to explain to you how to go about this. Then the URLs also. So for the URLs, at the same time, you also realize that you can create some URLs for different sites that are there. Okay. But another thing that maybe you would do is probably try to start your application and maybe try to build another app inside your application using what? Using Python. So you could probably do that. We will do that in our next class. So since we are left with 3 minutes, I promise you, I will start explaining from this point going forward in the pre-recorded class to help you understand more. But for today, I'm going to stop here and create the registration form. I've seen the number has dropped to 87, but I will share the pre-recorded class tomorrow because right now I'm busy. I need to prepare for a training which is coming up on Thursday and Friday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, how to build apps in 20 minutes. But I think we are going to, I don't know, maybe we'll be training it from me still. But I will try to make the recordings for you so that you can benefit from it. So with all this said, we will stop here for today, but we'll look at all this in details. The next time I'll explain this one by one, not to consume your time and also to stop exactly at 11:30. Okay, let me create the registration form. I'll send it to your email. And then next time we will start dealing with views in Python. Remember Python, you have to send requests and then it responds to your request. So that's what we will be looking at it next time when we meet. So for now, let's stop here. I'll explain this in the pre-recorded class. Thank you for attending and thank you for submitting your work. I hope the pre-recorded classes will not have complaints a lot, but if you have any error, please leave it in the comment section. Okay. Over to Dr. Ruth, if she's there. But please create the group and send me the link. Pick up your group now. For those who are going to do Django, you already have the file. Pick up because I'm sending you the data set today. And from this point, I know you can start proceeding, doing your work. Pick up your groups, a group of 5, and then start doing this project as soon as possible. Start doing this project. For the Django, of course, I'm going to explain. Next time when I meet, I'll explain web scraping to help you get the audio data sets, and then Flask. In the pre-recorded class, I'll just do one pre-recorded class for Django. That is it. Then next time I'll do Flask. For your information, you can go ahead and start learning how to set up Flask on your machine. But these are the projects.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
I'd like you to talk about the criterion for submitting the compiled work of all the scripts we've been doing ever since research started, and also the deadline.
Oh, you're going to do that onto the GitHub. I'll do a video how to do that. Not now. I'll do a video to guide you how to do that. You will get the video. I'll send an email for that particular part. Okay, thank you. Let's stop here, guys. I don't want to cheat on your time because the number has dropped to 78. So I can't proceed anymore. Catch you in the next episode on Wednesday. Hope you had fun. Over to Doctor to stop the recording. Yes, any question? Over to Doctor to stop the recording. And then guys, just a reminder, whenever we are ending recess like this, we always go for a treat in Ginger. So get in touch with the class rep. She's going to tell you more about the treat in Ginger. But I'm sure you're going to see those treat adverts onto the pre-recorded classes, where I will talk about them. I'm out. Over to Doctor. Doctor is not on call. Okay.